Hi everyone, and welcome back to maybe our last episode of the multiplayer lobby series. If you have any specific requests about how to do something particularly about a lobby that we haven't covered in this series, do let us know in the comments below so we can come back and revisit this if we need to down the line. But hopefully after today, you should have enough information to do most of what you'd expect to see in a lobby situation. So in this episode, we're going to go through and showcase how to pass data such as a loadout, which is a lot more data than, say, a nickname across from the lobby into the game, and how to actually make use of that information in the game. So let's jump in and take a look. So the thing we're not going to do is we're not going to worry about building UI, designing a whole loadout thing. Not going to worry about that. All I want to do is showcase how that data gets sent across to the player. So the way this works is it'd be a struct. That's the best way of doing it, because when you open up your player state and you've got to do copy properties, you don't want to do one by one. Try and do it as a struct. So we're going to go ahead and create a struct for this and do a struct. And it'll be F player loadout. Okay. And in player loadout, you'd have your various values in here. So I'd go to add a variable in here. We'll say weapon they've chosen. That'd be a class or an actor or something, whatever it may be. Say class reference, add variable, character, another variable, perks, which may be gameplay tag, like that. Or actually, let's say it has it's gameplay tag. Why not? That'd be like an array of them. Okay, and you keep going down and down, adding all the various things that you want to do. So that would be part of your player state lobby as a variable. So that'd be loadout, and that'd be the struct that we just made. So F player loadout, and hit compile. Now, if you want it to be replicated, you can do. Chances are you don't really want to see much of each other's stuff, but you could well do. You could do replicated, especially for like characters, I guess. You'll see what other people have chosen. So we'll replicate that across. Again, rep notifier if you want to specify specific things with a event dispatch or something. And in the sense of copy properties, we want to send that across over to them as well. So we'll go into the BPI player information, and over here we'll do get loadout and set loadout. And this will work very similar to the set get nickname and set nickname. So on set, we'll be having a input of F player loadout, and on the get, you'll have an output for player loadout. I'll save. Go back to the PS lobby. Let's say PlayStation lobby, dang, right? And then we'll do the set loadout message based upon our loadout from here. So as you can see, very similar, if not the same as what you saw before. It's just we're wrapping it all up inside of a struct. That's all good. So then you have your set nickname and set loadout, just like your set nickname happens over here. So you're going to have a custom event server set loadout replicated on the server, passing through F player loadout, and that'll be set to the variable there. And then on here we'll do server set loadout. Oh, compiled that, refresh that. There you go. Okay, and then on get loadout, it'll be just the loadout value like that. Okay, so functionally exactly the same. Then on the main thing that's going to be different is how you handle it on the other side. So on the shooter player state, that information will come across, and it's part of it now as a loadout. So we're going to have a variable in here called loadout F player loadout, and we'll go to set loadout, pop that into there. And get loadout. We'll set that to there. Okay. So those things are now set up just like that. So as I said, the thing that's going to be different is how you hand it, because that's where you want to change certain things. So you want to be able to read from your player state when you're generating the character. That's part of your game mode. So if I'm worried about the class the player has chosen, I can go into the game mode for the shooter here and go to the game mode. And part of the game mode functionality is that in the functions, you'll find in there, get default pawn class for controller. So click on this. This is the function that gets called when it wants to pick a class for you to spawn as. Now, by default, what that does, it will just pick the one that's assigned in the details panel over here. We want to bypass that and use the one inside of our loadout. So we've got in controller coming out from here. From there, I can get the player state. And then from there, I can get the loadout. I can get rid of the parent call there, don't need that. Okay. And the loadout here, we can then break that open to get the character class the player has chosen in their lobby. Just so we can hide. Yeah. So that will come across just fine and spawn the character as the correct class there. So case in point of how that works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my loadout without having to do a whole complicated widget. I won't worry about that. But if I go into my struct here and go to default values and go to the character class and just choose a new character. So that was choosing the first person for the shooter. Let me just bring in the third person. We'll spawn in with a third person character. So add feature, third person, add to project. Okay, that's going to come in with a character that we can use. So on the character here, we'll choose the third person character. Okay, so very, very different to the default one. So when I hit play, I should start in the lobby, but then go over to the main game with a third person character that comes from the loadout. Remember, I haven't touched the game mode. The game mode still thinks it wants to, by default, load the first person one. This is just going to pick a different one. Okay. So wait for that to come up. I won't bother about changing any nicknames. We'll just hit start game. When it comes up, that is. Okay. Hit start game. And we should start off with a third person character, not a first person character. There you go. And there you go. Working a treat. And then anything like weapons the player starts with or the perks the player starts with, that's all handled inside of the character or controller, depending on what kind of information you're dealing with. If it's the character coming through it, then on your third person character or in the character class parent, which it should ideally be, you just have on begin play a checker that looks at the player state assigned to the player character. That's right. The player character has the player state assigned to it as well. If I do get player state, we can get player state from here, which is the one assigned, not that one, sorry. Get player state, that one, get player state. The difference between these two is that this one returns a particular player state. So if you're doing a local multiplayer with split screens, this is a good one to get because you can change it by index. This one gets the one that's assigned to this pawn. So that's the one we want. So we want the one that's assigned to this pawn. From there, get the loadout. And then from the loadout, do whatever it is you need to do. If it's a weapon, spawn the weapon of the class, you know, that sort of thing. Put perks on the character. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But hopefully that gives you enough to go on to add loadouts to your game in the correct way without having to rely on confusing with the the game instance and other things. So there you go, a multiplayer lobby allowing you to change information in one place and changing it into seamless travel using the correct method. So no complex saving and loading, and no confusing round trips to the game instance and back again and things like that. We're actually using the tools that are meant to be able to do this in the correct way. So hopefully you've learned a lot from this short series and have some ideas about where you want to go. And if there's something that I haven't really covered here in the lobby system setup that you want to see done or explained, just leave a comment below in this video and someone will get back to you with a new video. Well, someone will get back to me and tell me to make a video on that. So do give us suggestions down below for what you want to see in your lobby setup. But thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can find all our videos early from just $1 a month. Massive thank you to all our Patreon members for supporting the channel and everyone who has subscribed already. If you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the bell, hit all the things so you can stay up to date and informed with all the new developments coming to the channel, into Unreal and game dev in general. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you all in the next series. Bye everyone.